Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment's YouTube channel covering our Aserai campaign. Our channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related and especially tactics on the battlefield. And tactics we have needed as we've had a continuous onslaught in the last three episodes, and there's still work to be done. We are staring down the barrel of a very powerful Vlandian force. It's actually two powerful Vlandian forces that had the audacity to cross the entire map to siege Husson Folk. So these are stacked armies, as you can see here. I'd like to give you a little glance at what we're facing before we go into battle. I don't think I can show you our troops because of all the... Yeah, you can't really actually see, but we do not have a stacked army. The Vlandians have all kinds of banner knights and sharpshooters, and a lot of our troops are banged up, right? We've literally had 4 or 5 huge battles in a row, and it's taken its toll on the troops, right? We've had a lot of killed, of course, and even more injured, right? I have 86 healthy troops in my original army. Now, we do have a numerical advantage on them, but if I go in here, let's see how I can show you. If I go in here and show you the troops, you can see an awful lot of Mamluk regulars and recruits and light archers and tribal horsemen. These are guys wearing very light armor, right? Tribesmen. These are not good troops, and we're trying to fight very powerful Vlandian forces. So... this is not a gimme. This is the thing I'm learning in this new campaign. If I was ever in my previous campaigns and I outnumbered an opponent, they were dead meat. In fact, the battle was barely worth playing. Now we're still doing this. Even though I command 3,000 troops, they're still dumping me in like this. I can't wait to become my own kingdom, and frankly, that is coming. I know I've been saying that for 9 episodes. We may even force the issue here, especially since the Aserai are really under duress. And I'll clarify that point later on, but let me get to the tactics here. Let's fight this Vlandian force. I don't know if they're going to be aggressive or not. We're the one attacking them, but since they have so many heavy horse, it's likely they will charge. I saw some of our forces going over the ridge. What are these guys? I didn't tell anybody to charge. Oh, you know what's going on here? Here's the dipshit AI. They're literally running back and forth like a Roomba. These guys are the Roomba of Calradia, right? They just bounce around randomly. They hit a wall and they go somewhere else. So we'll let them do their thing. I'm going to set up a split army here. We're going to take advantage of this water and the slopes. I'm going to set up a cav division with an infantry division up here on the hills. I'll probably do... I'm splitting the divisions, of course, because this doesn't happen before the battle. You have to do it after the battle starts. The 1st and 2nd, I think, will start up here. The 3rd with the 6th Corps down in the water. Both archer divisions in the water. And the reason I'm doing that, of course, is heavy cavalry moving through the water is not going to be as big a threat to those archers. They'll be able to enfilade the enemy. You motherfuckers. Some Vlandians are just charging straight ahead here. Again, I'm adapting to this new mouse. They're in here. Just, I guess our Vlandian allies are going to charge, 80,000 heavy horse. That's a good strategy. Anyways, we will await the onslaught here. We have a division of infantry right behind our cavalry, and there's not all shock troops in there. In fact, they're getting kind of tangled up with the cavalry trying to go down the water. But there's quite a few shock troops in there, and of course, there's guys with javelins, right? So it's kind of a mix. Because it throws you in there like this, I'm not able to really... yeah, I see quite a few shock troops still. I'm not really able to isolate my troops like I would like to. The Vlandians kind of look like they're coming up here. If they attack up here, that's fine, because our archers will have full enfilade fire down there, and we'll bring our other units to bear. Now, I got the 7th and 8th. That's horse archers and jav cav down in the water with the rest of the troops. We're going to use this water. We're going to have to assault their archers. Their archers are going to be a problem at some point. Their infantry looks like it's coming to play in the water down here, and we welcome that, right? Come on down, you stupid dipshits. Come get some, especially one at a time. Let's behead some of these insolent fuckers. But it's this cavalry that I'm concerned about. Now, of course, fans of the channel are like, wait a minute, though, you say cavalry suck. Sort of. These guys have incredible bonuses and perks because of the quality of their lords. And I've noticed so far in battle, they do pretty well. It's better than you might think. Frankly, all of our enemies are doing better than I expect, but of course that should now be normal, right? With the perks that these enemies have, these foes we're facing, this is not your normal Bannerlord. All right, so we like this infantry coming down here to suicide. I've got 2 archer divisions, a crossbow division, a skirmisher division, a horse archer division, a jav cav division. These guys are about to get stuck with fucking pins, and I think we'll drive cavalry up their ass just for fun. These guys have, this is a suicide mission. I don't even know if they're going to get to any troops. We're just going to kite back. I've got the crossbow over here. These guys, I can just continue to kite back a little bit. It's a kill box in the water. I mean, they're not going to, they might reach a few troops, but not very many. This one cavalry dipshit, in fact, as soon as I mentioned him, he got fucking killed by an avalaton. This is what I'm worried about, though. All right, so this is how we're going to fight these 2 phases. Those guys are working down here, and all I got to do is monitor them and kite them. Up here, we're going to charge with this 1st division. In comes the 8th behind me, and this 1st division, we charge. All these stood-up cavalrymen should be dead meat to charging infantry, right? We've got ferocious shock troops and legionary, and I see wildlings throwing their javelins in there. Down here, this infantry division, as we expected, is being just liquidated. They're down to 80, even though they're blocking probably. They have some cav support now, so we'll pay a little bit more attention. Fucking asshole fucking stuck me right in my leg. Well, and that noble duel is kind of quick, right? 2 axes to the face, and that gal crumpled. So let's charge these guys with this 6th Corps, right? We've got a division down here. It's a mixed division of archers and infantry, and we'll be able to destroy this infantry with it. Of course, we have cav support as well. They don't quite have archer support yet. The advantage of kiting, they're slowly making their way here. Now, they're ganging up on some of our units. I see like 1 guy being attacked by 8 cavalry. Look at that shit. Fucking ganging up on our troops. Fuck you guys. I'm starting to take Vlandia personal in this episode, right? We're definitely developing a little rivalry here. And speaking of rivalry, we will have Nemesis rivals in this campaign. I'll hope to cover that as well in this episode, although it might be next episode, depending on how long these battles take, right? It's this battle, and who knows what else is going to happen. Probably more battles. That seems likely. Until we get peace. I may try to convince Guzid that this is suicide to fight the 3 biggest kingdoms. These archers just died. These fucking assholes charged up while I've got cavalry and infantry advancing on them. I mean, they're ferocious infantry. Every guy is a sharpshooter or a Fiend champ. I don't even see Fiends. All they have is sharpshooters and Fiends. Fiend champs. But we've got the medicine to cure what ails us here. We've got infantry boring in on them. I've got a cav division in the 8th following me here. We're going to interrupt the fuck out of these guys as our infantry bores in and kill the fucks. Now, these guys are tough in melee. In fact, you see him killing... Oh, shit. You see him killing, Aserai veteran infantry here. It's not like these archers are bereft of fighting ability. As I've talked about on the channel, these are probably the best 2 archers in the game when it comes to overall flexibility, offensive weaponry, etc. Everybody loves the Fiend champ. And we get a level. I think that was Cole getting a level, killing a Fiend champ, which seems appropriate. Yeah, I see you trying to draw a bead on me, motherfucker. Draw a bead on my axe face. Alright, so it's a little chaotic in the water. I can't monitor both sites this well, but I'm pretty sure they've destroyed those archers or infantry down there. I've told them to charge to help us here with these archers. These archers are really stubbornly fighting. And now we start to look for reinforcements, right? There are going to be reinforcements for both sides here, right? They will get multiple waves, and so will we. Let's see, keep these archers back here. They continue to charge down with cavalry, right? So we want to use this water. Eventually, that's going to be played out, especially when those guys run out of ammo. And at that stage, they're going to be a little bit bereft of their ability to help us here. I mean, at this stage, they've been firing arrows now for about 4 minutes. They're probably really low on ammo if they're not out. The death spam is remarkably bad, considering the tactics we've sort of thrown out here, but I think that's their perk heavy cavalry out here spearing everything in sight. I think expectations, look at, they just don't miss a spear shot either. They just fight better. The perks make them block more and parry more. And we've got our hands full here. Every battle seems like it's difficult. Trying to bring this archer division over so we can support them. But they're being, of course, pursued by cavalry. Fucking assholes. So every time I look, there's a cavalryman facing me with a spear in my face. Fucking assholes. Yeah, every guy trying to kill me. We've got our archers there. It looks like we have archer reinforcements. So the 2nd Division is in. That usually comes in as archers, which is good. We need the ammo. We're going to start to use this elevation now. Let's stick the archers. We will start to move up the hill as our troops get together, right? The unfortunate lack of coordination now comes from the fact that we benefited from the split army early. It was hugely beneficial early in this battle. Just crushing fucking... This axe is savage. Oh, shit. Almost fucking down. 37 damage. God damn it. Let's push in here and fucking try to kill these guys attacking our archers. They are down to middle tier cavalry. That's good, right? We're not going to get fucking hit for 150, although it doesn't matter when you have 20 hit points, right? My health is perilous. We're starting to conquer the upper area, but we're losing in the river, right? The river is basically gone. These infantrymen are fighting for their life against a huge press. There's archers here. There's elite infantry pressing up. Fuck you guys. All right, we're going to be able to start taking the height advantage here. This 2nd Corps, we can start to spread out above all these troops down there in the valley. This is the sacrifice those men made by being down in the water. We're now going to gain outstanding position against the rest of their troops. Let's get an infantry division right on the edge of this ridge. The 1st Division we can have facing the enemy downhill. Basically, if they start shooting at us. And the other thing we can do, too, is we can get cav positioned in a way that we can use it on our flank. Got to get these... Oh, we just got horse archers. Those guys probably came in the 4th Corps. That means more archers. So we'll be able to use them to flank the enemy. But now that we have this height advantage, we're going to use it. The enemy has essentially been pulled down to the river by those archers. The initial archers that we had. Now we just got to survive. There's thousands of spears rushing in on us. Got to get this infantry in a line here. We got to slow down their cavalry from running 200 miles an hour here. Yeah, still getting used to this mouse for sure. It's a new gaming mouse, but sometimes when I first start playing, it takes me a little bit to sort of get used to. It's very fast, but and it's very responsive, but it takes some practice. All right, let's have these archers spread. Look at the angle they have. And this is a huge amount of archers. So much we can split it. Let's pull 1 division. Yeah, we could put it here, but let's give them a cav corps to defend them. I want angles on the enemy. Here's what we'll do. We'll take this 3rd Corps. Actually, I think we'll put it... I see you coming, fucker. We'll put it on the other side of this hill here. And those cavalrymen should defend both archer tranches pretty well, right? A big spear and a shield holding back enemy heavy cav charging. And look at the archers working now, right? It's a massacre. I've got 2 infantry divisions here. And they're starting to trickle up. There's nothing wrong with attacking with some infantry here, especially because they have a good block of infantry facing us. I'm going to continue to use 1 division here, just defensively. Our archers are working here. We've got 1 division charging, 1 infantry division playing defense. Here's that horse archer division. Let's flank the enemy here. Let's pull them around to the enemy's right, our left. These guys will now be able to start firing arrows into the enemy. Most of the enemy troops down here are infantry, right? These are the guys that pursued all of our troops down into the river, and now they are highly vulnerable. They are being strafed with arrows. We have infantry charging downhill on them. And the results are as you'd expect, right? Over here, their cav is suppressed, right? The enemy's charging us with cavalry, and it's going nowhere. It's going right into the ground is where it's going, right? Because we have that huge line of cavalry now. I'm trying to survive this battle. Of course, every battle that I fight, Cole could die, right? We have the death for all mod. Look at the arrows raining down here. It's a maelstrom. These guys are all turned the back to the arrows too, and they're being scorched. It's a fucking massacre. So I'm trying to be cautious, but man, it's difficult, right? I have such a bloodlust for Bannerlord. Are these? Oh, I've got the icons turned way down. You can barely see that these are our troops. Still working on the right adjustment balance for that. This looks like a major reset for the enemy. Let's kill everybody we can before they get back to their reinforcements. Let's get the 2nd and 4th Corps pushed up on the hill. Those guys can move quickly, especially the 4th. Archers move faster than infantry, so you can really get the flank on the enemy in a situation like this if you move them ahead of time. You know, we're skating to where the puck is going to be. This might be a rout. These guys are, I mean, some of them are fighting. Oh, look out. Cole, or the Jarl, right? The former Jarl's got javelins. He doesn't have any tricep strength, though. His throwing skills got to do some serious improvement. But I think that's a rout. The enemy is just fucking fleeing. If they are reforming, that's like the longest I've ever seen an enemy reform again. And I wouldn't be shocked if they reform, or if they fled after this beating. I mean, we've thrashed them. And obviously, we have a lot of reinforcements still coming. They're not winning this battle. Our cavalrymen are just riding them down. And I think we'll be able to do a little RTS here at the end of this and just look over this incredible mass of troops. And a huge victory for us, right? This is a huge victory indeed. And the enemy is fleeing. You won the battle. Let's take a look at this fucking glorious battlefield. Just cavalry pursuing the enemy into the grass, riding down all their fucks. Cut those boys down. Fucking archers. This was a hard-earned win. This was basically about 6 or 7 fights in 3 episodes. 3 or 4 episodes of this campaign. And this is the culminating battle, right? A destructive massacre of this ferocious, fearsome Vlandian force that really crossed the entire map to siege one of our critical cities. Now it's an Aserai city, the Razi. I thought they would vote it for me, but evidently not. They want to hold on to it. So I'm not too worried about it surviving long term, but we definitely had to put down this Vlandian force. We lost one of the minor clans. That's all right. They get replaced immediately. And we put down about 2,000 enemies, about a 2-to-1 KDR. That, in this campaign, is going to be an exemplary result because we are fighting incredibly powerful troops. It's no longer going to be, like in my last campaign, we'd have 4 or 5-to-1 KDRs, 10-to-1. That's not going to be a thing in this campaign. This campaign is like playing chess against fucking, you know, the elite Spernikov and fucking Kasparov and the other elite players out there. We're not playing superior AI here, but our opponents have every single possible advantage on us, and then some, right? Which reminds me of the Nemesis part. I can tell you a little bit about that while we go back. We'll probably dump some prisoners off here at Hassan Folk. And then head back to Danustica because we've got to get reinforcements, right? Our troops are banged up. We need R&R, but mostly I just need fresh troops. So the Nemesis side of things, right? I have decided to fiddle around with the console commands and edit probably about 20 lords in this campaign of the 4, maybe the 5 sides. The main 4 sides that I'm planning on editing are Khazate, the Vlandians, the Sturgeons, and let's see, who else do we do? And the Batanians. Those are the major 4 forces in this campaign. The Southern Empire is kind of weak. I guess we might edit some Western Empire nobles. I'm going to dump, speaking of nobles, I'm going to dump a bunch of these guys. There's no way we can maintain influence with the whole realm called to our massive army. Not to mention they would encumber us to shit. So I'm going to dump a bunch of these guys. All right, so what I'm going to do with these guys, and I will give you guys full details. It's difficult to do, but I've played around with it a little bit in the past. We did it to increase, what did we do? We increased a couple perks in an episode. What's this guy doing? He got trapped, I guess. You have very purple lipstick. Easy on the purple lipstick there, lady. That's a little bit, a little much. Anyway, so this Nemesis notion, what I'm going to do is edit with the console about 20 elite lords from the realms. Now, I'm going to choose very young lords for 2 reasons. First, the older lords already have their stats maxed out because of the strength and AI mod. They can't have their stats increased, right? If it's maxed, you can't go any higher. And of course, they're not 330 max, but what they are is they're maxed for their skill perk level, right there. You reach your hard cap. We need companions. We're losing companions here. Unfortunately, we lost Wahan the Golden. If you didn't catch that, that was a tragedy loss in that huge battle against the Southern Empire. We lost Wahan the Golden. He paid the ultimate price for his valor. Now we recruit some more horses here. We'll buy all the food here. We're just absolutely loading up like a squirrel. But with this Nemesis mod, what we're going to be able to do is have monstrously overpowered enemies that eventually I recognize their names. And of course, I'll tell you the names of them and I'll show you the stats of them. I might have like a you know, a cool intro, sort of showing them, you know, like you would before, I don't know, like a Mortal Kombat series. Mortal Kombat, right? These are the badasses that are out there in the campaign. And what I'm going to alter mostly are their combat skills. I'm going to give them, for example, we'll give, and it'll be sort of culturally accurate. We're going to give the Vlandian guys like 380 or 420 polearm skill and 420 riding skill. And we're going to give, of course, the Botanian guys athleticism and 450 bow skill and 370 two-handed, stuff like that. There's a random element to it as well. But basically, we're going to create these uber lords that are out there. And there'll be some females, too. And some of the females, of course, will have steward, medicine, and leadership skills. So that means they're going to be leading incredibly large and powerful. Let's see if we get... Now, they don't vote us anything now. This is one reason right here to leave the Aserai. They aren't voting us any territory now. It's just like we're on the pay no mind list. I thought Guzid was our bro, but evidently... look at this little tiny army. You're a dead man. This guy's just waiting in here. He has no idea what he's about to face. All our armies are sprinting after him. But this Nemesis is going to make it even more interesting because there are going to be rival lords out there, right? We're going to develop our companions to a very high level. And between the strength and AI mod, some console editing, and don't forget the powerful hero mod. This guy turned to fight us? The power bar says it's the same. Well... And again, okay, so look at his army. This is incredible. 91 Palace Guards, these 80 Elite Cataphract, 67 Vanguard Ferris. This guy has... We might lose this battle. No wonder he attacked. We have a bunch of injured and raggedy scrubs. I mean, we'll have a good probably 200 or 300 troops in our army here, but there's going to be a lot of fucking recruits. This, I might have just got us into a pickle here. I mean, at least they're attacking. We'll be able to use this water and tactically get some advantages here. But I was just mentioning it. Now I really need to remind myself. There's no such thing as an easy battle in this campaign. That was never a thing in my previous campaigns where 900 troops would turn and attack our 1,200 plus, 1,300 plus, because the power bar would be lopsided in our favor. Here, they're actually favored to win. At least with the power bar, and so this guy eagerly turned. He's like, yeah, I fucking fight. So, yeah. This campaign is going to be fascinating on a number of different levels, and it may not work, right? There's a chance, like, it gets crazy difficult, where I'm either forced to just concede, right? You just basically say, I can't win, or we have to make some adjustments on our side. I do have a few levers I can pull. One of them is smithing. I really don't want to smith, but I'm keeping that in my back pocket. That if things get really difficult, we will smith some savage weapons. There's 1,000 questions on the channel about how to smith good weapons. What are your favorite weapons? So maybe it'll be worth it, but I don't think so. I hate the hours trudging along, smelting this, selling this thing, running around, buying all this wood, making charcoal. I hate the whole grind, so I'm unlikely to do smithing. But that's the kind of example of the way I could give us some power to start to help us win this campaign. Anyway, so we're going to have this Nemesis mod. It'll be not a mod, but this Nemesis phenomenon in this campaign, and I will talk about that more at length here. Here I want to talk a little bit about tactics. We've got a crossbow division. I'm going to set the horse archer division and an 8th division off to the left flank here because I plan on circling the enemy. We do have skirmishers, a shock troop division, the 3rd, the skirmishers are 6th, and the 1st infantry holding a line there. The 2nd cav is right at the edge of the water, and that's so the enemy comes at us extremely slowly. All of their cavalry will be running 3 miles an hour and then get destroyed by these shock troops. Okay, this is, again, the allied AI is just auto-suiciding. So there goes 80 troops or whatever that is, right? Those guys are absolute dead men. And there's just not much you can do about that, right? This is just, it's part of the system. The AI just does not cooperate. And it's one more reason to go. I'm on hold fire here, by the way. We're just saving our arrows till they're a little closer. It's one more reason to be an independent kingdom. All right. So we're being patient here because they're sort of jousting right now with those Aserai forces that suicided, right? That's almost all the death spam is those guys. They just barreled in there, 80 of them against 10,000, and they got liquidated. Now we're starting to joust with their horse archers, and I'm going to tuck our infantry divisions right up against our cavalry here because they have so many archers and horse archers. Tighten up the first a little bit. The 5th might be too far back. They're way up on that upper hill. I have the 4th down a little bit lower. I like to have my archers in different positions, and also the 4th has way more shields. If I have to square them, they can play defense. All right, their infantry and cav is starting to make their way in the water. And what I'm planning on doing here is relatively simple, right? We're using that 2nd division to slow down the enemy as they come in. We're pounding the enemy at range with archers, and then we're going to circle around with the 8th Corps, 7th Archers, and slam them from behind, right? We'll probably try to hammer an anvil with this 8th Corps and really pin their infantry and cavalry against our main lines there. Now, they have a lot of horse archers here, too. But these guys are getting scorched by archers, right? This is a good result for us. They're in the water, moving slowly. And, of course, Cole is in here cutting the heads off of every 4th guy. His combat skills actually seem better than Zuvan's. Zuvan was a character from a previous campaign. All right, so 8th Corps brought in behind the enemy. Their enemy line just reached ours, so they get told to charge. 1st, 6th, 3rd all get told to charge. The archers are relatively free, and the death spam basically confirms the tactics there, right? Although there's honestly a lot more death spam than I expected to see at this stage, but this is all Vanguard Ferris, right? These are all tier 6 elite cataphract and Vanguard Ferris. We're just fighting monstrous foes. I mean, it's amazing how strong our foe is. Getting this mouse dialed in a little bit and starting to throw javelins a little bit better. We're going to need it, though. That's one of theirs. Dead man. God, their cavalry is just trouncing our troops. They did their own little hammer and anvil here. The AI usually doesn't coordinate that, and that's probably just random. But that was a pretty good hammer and anvil there. They came bashing through. And look at all this cavalry. This is all tier 6. The Sturgeons you see, of course, they're all Drudzinic champions. Actually, there was a Ferris. They have a handful that are not like elite, but most of these are elite cavalry. Blocking everything. Our infantry looks like it's taking care of theirs, but this was a bloodbath. I thought this was going to be, and what I mean by that is this was bloody for us too. I thought we would just clean them up. But again, these are not average opponents. Now, we'll get reinforcements at some point. We should get infantry and probably an archer division. We might even get some cavalry. But the battle's sort of broken down now. I've got archers up here firing away, but of course there's cav coming through here. Now, one thing I can do in a situation like this is I can bring horse archers here, and what this will do is sort of clog up this area for our archers to shoot. Anytime you have archers being blasted by cavalry, what you really want to do is create a packed mass of troops and put them basically right where the archers are. You can even square the archers, right? At least temporarily. And then if and when the enemy charges you with cavalry, you charge, right? And all of your troops concentrated together against slowed down cavalry really fucking mauls the enemy. We've got infantry reinforcements and archer reinforcements coming in. I like what I see, but the death spam's unbelievably red. And I don't feel like I'm making tactical mistakes. I mean, their archers are moving up. That's going to be a bit of a problem because it's going to be hard to get to them. They're going to have one of the advantages initially of this water is that their archers couldn't join the battle. But pretty soon they're going to be knee deep in the water shooting at us from a long ways away. And it's going to be hard to get to them, right? That's a developing problem. Up here, though, we're just trying to protect these archers so that they can get set up and so that they can work on the work on the enemy archers. Right? We're in a ranged. God damn these fucking rocks! It's like invisible until you run over it. All right, I'm going to drag this archer division, horse archer division rather, and a cav division, and we're going to try to circle around and hammer their archers. Right? We got to get some. We got to get some of these horsemen in against their archers, not to kill them necessarily, just to knock them around, right? Our archers and infantry will do the rest. Bring these guys in here. They got tough archers. Of course, they're blocking everything. Well, they have some lower level, middle level archers, right? Tier 3 archers, but they have a lot of them, right? This is a major problem, and the death spam tells you that, right? Crossbowmen are racking up kills. Our archers and horse archers are being skewered as they're shot in a maelstrom. This is the opposite of where I want to be, right? This is normally what we would want to do. In fact, that first battle, this is kind of what we did, right? We slaughtered the Vlandians by having our archers in the water. Here, because of our initial setup, this is just a temporary advantage that the enemy has. Now our infantry's closing. Our guys are going to be coming down the hill, although they're a long ways away. God damn it, our reinforcement spot was not close. And all of a sudden, again, we've got a battle here where it feels like we could lose. There is no easy battle in this campaign. Even a battle which I literally thought about auto-resolving, we'd probably lose. This infantry is taking forever to get here. I might join our troops on the ground here. We've got a tiny cav division. We've got a small amount of archers now because they're being destroyed. The horse archers are gone. They're liquidated. We lost all of our horse archers. And infantry that's charging with me here is scrubs. I see fucking peasants. I see guys with fucking little tiny wooden shields. God damn it. At least I've got a lot of health, right? We're going to need it here. Cold is going to wade the fuck in here. Now, it shouldn't be possible, but it really seems like Cole is actually a superior warrior to Zuvan, right? The character from my previous campaign. His stats don't match up. Of course, Zuvan was like level 55 or something like that. And for whatever reason, maybe it's some of it has to do with the skill improvements that I've made. He's got a really fast axe that always helps. But I just seem to be shredding the battlefield with this character, right? Obviously, he doesn't have the same power, right? Zuvan was a battlefield god, but Cole, early on here, is really turning into a force on the battlefield. Right? His axe is fast. I have this sword and shield, so I have a little bit of a defensive agent. I've still got some javelins. It remains to be seen whether or not I switch to more javelins, right? I may eventually run just an axe and 3 javelins like Zuvan, but I also like the defensive ability of having a sword and shield. Now I'm having a hard time leveling up his sword and shield because his weapon skill is so disheartening with one-handed. I just feel like an impotent bitch. And this battle is finally over. I mean, thank goodness, right? This is really tilting towards another nail biter, but we've got enough peasants here. I think we can wrap the enemy up. Although I don't see, it seems like the enemy has lots of cavalry, and all we have is peasants with the sickle. It really is kind of a sad affair, and the enemy is of course just cutting down our guys left and right, spearing me. But well, like I said before, there really just does not seem to be an easy battle in this campaign, right? I'm not talking where it's 400 enemy against our 1500. I mean, if the enemy has anywhere approaching our numbers, it is a tough fight, right? This strengthened AI mod between the power of the enemy lords and a whole bunch of elite troops, elite cataphracts, it's been a real challenge, right? I'm a highly experienced player, and it is pressing me to the max. But of course, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm complaining. This is what I wanted, right? I wanted a brutal campaign. I wanted it so you have to swing your axe at a guy twice to kill him. Hey, we can have a little duel with this gal here. We'll tell all units to stand still, and we can have a duel. I'm going to try it to any time we have like a lord where you can have a one-on-one. Well, there wasn't much of a duel there. She went, she died in like 5 phases. There should be some good duels, especially once we introduce this Nemesis part. I got to admit, though, I'm a little bit nervous about the idea, right? I'm going to do it still. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm not going to change my mind. But it's going to be really terrifying to be on the battlefield knowing that there are Khazate units with 420 polearm and 390 riding skill, where if they hit you with 390 riding skill, they do like 40 to 60 damage, charge damage. So we're going to experience some very unpleasant things at times. We're going to have companions dropped. We're going to have Cole. Cole's going to meet his maker, hopefully not death, but he's definitely going to get humbled by some of these lords. It's already happened, right? I've already had just some of the strengthened AI lords really give my main character a beating, and that's going to become even more pronounced once we enhance these lords. Again, it'll probably be several minutes where I essentially sort of introduce the villains of this campaign. and that's going to be soon. What I really wanted to wait for was us to have somewhat mature guys starting to develop as well. And the whole concept, as we do win here ugly, the whole concept was your companions get incredibly powerful, but lords generally and Bannerlord are pretty weak. I wanted them to be incredibly powerful too. Right? We want to have a fair fight, or at least a really difficult fight. All right, another deep sigh here is another very difficult battle is in the books. And this is really sort of the culminating battle. Who knows if there are more battles on the edge in the next 5 minutes, right? We're gonna finally reload our troops here. We will go to the city, stack our roster here, and I think it's another spot for me to take a little break, right? This is, it's been an exhausting 3 or 4 episodes for me. Highly entertaining, highly fun for me to play, but I need to pick up some troops from some of these garrisons. I've shoved troops. I think we have some Jawals and some Palace Guards down there at that lone castle. We need to sort of regroup here. I'm going to gather all the units up here at this city, take all the wounded ones and discard, not discard, but put all the weaker troops in the garrison here. We'll sell a bunch of equipment, and this is a perfect opportunity. I actually got to take a piss like a racehorse. I know you guys love to hear stuff like that. That's just me being what is it called? Forthwith? Yeah, anyways, I'm being... yeah, we'll move on. So we're going to take a little break here. Hopefully with a little bit of editing, you guys can barely notice. All right, the army's a little bit thinned out. We've got an elite army and a bunch of wounded troops that we're using, of course, to power up our medicine skill here for Cole. He's actually got a perk point. We want to continue to have injured units sit on Cole. That way he does his magic, right, and puts on band-aids and shit, and his medicine skill goes higher. It's undeniable that 330 medicine skill is the goal here. That'll probably be the next attribute point at level 40, and then maybe if he gets to level 44, we will go vigor. But I have some plans here with this army, right? We're reduced size here, and I was looking at our budget, and we're hemorrhaging a huge amount of money at this castle. This castle I have not paid much attention to after putting a bunch of troops there a long time ago, and it looks like they've been slowly upgrading. We had a good governor there briefly. How do I look at the troops? Here we go. Here we go. There's Battanian Fiend Champs? No. Oh, whoops. That's Cole. Here's the garrison. Palace Guard, look at that shit. There's incredibly powerful troops there. 64 Master Archers. So we're heading with our army down there. We're gonna gather up maybe 300 of those guys, right? Cole is obviously down considerably on units here. In fact, here's what we can do. This garrison here, I can put even more troops in the garrison, and we can run very light. In fact, only our companions. Of course, we have our 3 companion armies, and they have elite troops still. Before you think that we're just going carelessly. Where's Arwa here? You know, we're not just going down there carelessly. We still have a nice escort force here, right, with a bunch of... We actually have quite a few Bedouin camels, right? That's the Jawal unit. I think we have probably 30 in our army. But we're going to go here to Sahel Castle, and then I think the Siege of Razi is next, right? We want this castle back, or this city rather back. The Aserai look like they're going north, which is dipshittery here. They're attacking the Khazaits at Melian Castle. They're probably going to get captured like dipshits. But we're going to go down here, collect these troops, and then I think we'll be, you know, at 1,500 with a few of these armies healing. Let's see if we can get peace here. Let's watch this shit. Look at this shit. The whole fucking kingdom, even though we're getting throttled here, they want war still against the Khazate. This is what I mean. These guys are just... They want war with everybody. How about this? How about the Southern Empire? Can we have peace with anybody? No, we oppose making peace at this time. Well, how about a suggestion there at the Aserai? How about you motherfuckers defend? How about you do something, right? Form some armies other than that 700-person, 600-person army and actually defend the homeland. We'll do it all. You know what? We'll trap this Southern Empire force here. It looks like a new Southern Empire force. The reinforcements are coming from the south, and we're going to destroy this force. Why? Because we have... Well, why? Because we want to destroy Southern Empire fucks. But how? We're going to destroy them with Arwa. Watch this heat-seeking missile hunt down these units here. Sick 'em. This, of course, is Cole's mother. And she has lots of cavalry in her army. Whoops, she's going the wrong way. We'll have to re-add her to the party here. But she should heat seek missile on this army. As soon as she gets close enough here, the AI sort of takes over, and just like a heat seeking torpedo, hopefully she goes for the larger force.
That's close enough.
Okay, we got him. Actually, I think we ended up catching both of them, which is beautiful. So to auto-resolve or not to auto-resolve? That's the question, right? We don't need to suffer a huge amount of consequences, a huge amount of losses, so we're just going to fight this battle here quick. Again, later in this campaign, we probably won't do this at all, but this is close enough. We might sustain 50% losses here. It's an interesting battlefield. It's kind of wide open. We should be able to throttle these guys pretty quickly here, do some baseline tactics, and then move on, right? The siege of Razi is our next target, although who knows, right? If the Vlandians start sieging up north, our plans can change, right? You always have a contingency plan and always expect and prepare for the worst. So we can just blaze this. By now, you guys are familiar with the strategy: 4th Corps, 5th Corps archers, skirmisher mixed with archers in the 6th. The 1st is my main infantry. The 2nd is our main cavalry, defensive cavalry. The 7th and 8th are horse archers and Javcav. And this is going to be the standard formations that I use for a long time here, right? We're going to just lay out units quickly. Although their units are, it looks like they're moving away. These are horse archers, so we can just throttle these guys real quick. I will be blazing through this battle. Like, if you need to take a piss, why don't you take a 3-minute piss, if that's such a thing. Maybe you're a camel. Come back, and this battle will be over. Excuse me. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but I also don't want to auto-resolve. They are playing defensive, it looks like. I wonder if they'll form the disastrous ring defense. And if they form a normal ring or a normal defense, you know, guys want to see this. How do you destroy defensive enemies, especially defensive enemies with good troops? I see high-level troops in their army, Master Archer. I see all kinds of Aserai Ferris and Drudzinic champions and whatnot. These armies we're facing are almost all elite. And, you know, we'll have to dispose of them without too many casualties here. Like I said, I think auto-resolve 600 against 1,000. We might have suffered 300, 400, 500 casualties, and that's more than I find tolerable in this situation, right? We just recovered from these disastrous back-to-back battles, and we really need to get our army healthy. We need to get our forces full, right? We need to get a nice solid 800 in our main army here, stack the troops up a bit. And this is also beneficial. Of course, our companions are gaining. This is farming, right? This enemy here has 0% chance to win. I mean, and I truly mean 0%. Sorry to ruin your suspense. But what this is, of course, is our companions can throw their javelins. They can swing their axe. They can kill some fucks. And we should gain, you know, a bunch of little benefits from this battle. Now, you get a lot of that, of course, using the auto-resolve, but I don't want to suffer those aforementioned losses. So we begin a C formation circling of this defensive force. We're moving up our 1st, 3rd, 6th. I'm also starting to get the crossbow division pushed off to the side here, right? We're going to actually position it towards the main defensive forces, their right, our left. This direction over here. I know it's kind of hard sometimes. Come on, he says. Yeah, for sure at this stage, Cole is feeling his oats, right? This guy is maturing into a battlefield beast. I'm getting comfortable with his weapons and his javelins, and there are upgrades still to come, right? We may get a better axe. We're going to get better armor. We're going to get some large bags of Jareeds eventually. These crossbow are just scorching their cav right off the map. And we're going to move in quick here. The 1st Division, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 6th will hold the center. They're going to barrel in aggressively. As the enemy breaks formation, we will then swing them into a square around the enemy, right? With this 7th and 8th Division following me, right? This is horse archers and Jav Cav. We're going to sort of skirmish with their troops here. I can set the 8th in a shield wall line and then circle them with the archers. But whenever their main body of about 400 troops breaks and charges, we will be ready for it. Get the horse archers in behind here. This is all sort of standard stuff, right? We're flanking the enemy. Our horse archers are shooting. They're just firing right into the back of these guys, and the screen sprays a bunch of green. Now their main infantry body, okay, here it comes. It's starting to break already. So we start to spread our units out. This second division is basically just here to absorb arrows, right? The 6th and 1st and 3rd, we're going to do a little bit of kiting. I won't get too overly zealous here, but this is how you minimize casualties, right? This big zerg of heavy infantry barreling right towards us. There's a bunch of high-end troops in there, right? I assure you, they're going to have legionnaires and fucking palace guards. For some reason, they have sturgeon troops, so they're going to have, what is the line breaker? Right, and we're going to surround them and kill box. Now, I'm not going to spend the customary time I would for this. We could get really tricky here and do all kinds of kiting, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste your fellas' times. It's basically trying to find the balance between fighting every single battle perfect, which would drive you guys nuts with kiting and 25-minute battles where we can't lose, and also trying to fight with a level of efficiency. We actually had some archers there, I think, that were on charge. Or I'm not sure what I did wrong, but they were way too close. So back off the 5th Corps. We can keep the rest of their archers busy just by driving our forces through here. I should be able to keep an eye on the main body of their infantry and kite them at range. Now, that's not a tactic most guys are going to be comfortable with. I'm measuring out the distances of all these units at the same time as we're about to attack all these archers. This is way more micromanaging than most guys want to do or are probably comfortable with. Our archers are scorching their archers anyways. It's just kind of a massacre here. I hear guys screaming and getting cut apart, set on fire. In fact, our 7th and 8th can now be used to encircle the enemy. 265, right, in their main force. It's going to cause some losses. So we'll bring the 6th, 3rd, 1st to bear on the enemy here. The 2nd is also coming over. That's Jav Cav. Those aren't the strongest cavalry, of course. And then in behind everything else comes the 7th and 8th here, right? And look at these are tough troops. This is going to be a slugfest, actually. We're going to incur some losses here. I'll get on foot. Cole's still leveling up his athleticism and shit, right? We're going to just bore in here, and losses be damned at this stage, right? We're in a slugfest. So why Razi? Razi's a nice, strong central city. Fuck, I'm getting wailed on, actually. Don't need to get killed in this battle. Razi is a centrally located city. Now, again, there's a decent chance these dipshits don't vote it for me, even though we're going to do everything. But if we get voted Razi, its central location makes it highly advantageous to, what's the best way? It's like a Rock of Gibraltar. I guess that's the best analogy. You guys familiar with the Rock of Gibraltar? It's basically a giant fucking granite or stone outcropping at the mouth of the Mediterranean, and of course the English with their imperialism held it for a long time because they wanted to dominate world, or at least Mediterranean trade. It's a highly defensible. Anyways, I digress. The point of it though is that Razi is a city that is located in a manner that if you have troops there and you have if your armies are roaming about, it's very difficult for the enemy to get units by and try to raid your villages and harangue your kingdom because oh shit, a legendary executioner axe. Well, I have this execution axe. I'm not sure the difference here. It's actually, I think you could argue it's inferior. I prefer the range over the damage. Let's see, who else can I give this to? This Rayma, that's his wife. I guess Rayma could have it. The drilled two-handed axe is actually comparable as well. That's a tier 6 versus tier 5. I wish it was a legendary heavy executioner axe, because then it would be savage. But these small differences don't matter too much, right? It's a little bit better. I guess we can give it to Cole's wife. She's looking pretty snazzy there. By the way, if you notice, she's got the same weapon loadout, or very similar as Cole, right? She's got a two-handed axe and then javelins. In fact, she has Zuvan's old weapon loadout, right, with lots of javelins and just a two-hand, all offense, no defense, right? That's the kind of gal that Cole was looking for. So Razi has a pretty good defense force there, but I don't think that's going to matter. We'll just call a few more Aserai nobles, and don't forget the entire reason Oneira's under siege. Yeah, these Khazate, who knows what they'll do. If they'll defend Oneira. If it was Danustica, I'd be putting a hard decision, but I don't give a fuck about Oneira. Let's go down here, reinforce. I was going to say, don't forget, we're about to totally load up our army. You see Cole has 14 troops. Yeah, well, he's about to have 314, right? This castle has been building up troops, and they want peace. The Khazaits want peace. Well, maybe I'll let our forces at least up there take that castle. It looks like they're close to doing that. But we're about to load up, right? This castle's been sitting here. The units have been upgrading. This castle has not been sieged in years. And I mean years and years. And look at this shit. This is incredible. There is a mother load of troops here. Now, this is part of the reason we're losing 12,000 gold or whatever it is a day. We're losing a huge amount of gold because this garrison obviously is incredibly expensive. This would be like, you know, you buy home insurance for your home, and you got a $400,000 house, and you've got your policy covers you up to 12 million, right? And your premiums each month, it's $10,000 a month for your home insurance, right? That's what's going on here. This castle had enough troops to defend against you know, the Dark Lord Sauron and his entire 200,000 forces on the Pelennor fields. This castle was ready for bear, and it's part of the reason it wasn't sieged, right? The enemy's looking at that like, fuck no. And of course the AI can just see basically what troops are in there and say, okay, we can't take it. Now, I don't want to leave it defended. We're leaving a relatively skeleton force here, and I've got this Sasatha. She's one of the wives of one of our companions. I actually can't remember who she's married to. It doesn't really matter. We've got this gal. She's an older gal, and she's going to do an excellent job of being the governor there. Her perk list fucking practically scrolled off the bottom of the page there, and with that decent garrison and a bunch of militia, you know, there's a pretty good chance that she can hold out there. It's even a chance that the Southern Empire doesn't even bother sieging that castle. Although we shall see, right? We just took like 300 elite troops out of that castle, and what a beautiful thing that is, right? We needed reinforcements for this upcoming war, and we just got them, right? Our army just got stacked. We're going to immediately turn around and use these forces here to smash Razi before we head north and deal with whatever calamitous shit is going on up there. Who knows? We'll probably be getting blasted at Danustica by the time we get back up there. That is the way it is, right? I've got a dipshit. As I've said before, we've got an imbecile for a suzerain. Suzerain, if you've never heard of that term, it's basically... well, actually, we are a suzerain. Wait, I can't remember. I think it's the opposite of vassal, right? We are, the Aserai in this case is suzerain to us. Do a little ransom here. We're collecting all kinds of gold for ransom and shit. I actually saw somebody got 50,000 for ransom, and that's one of the artifacts of the Strengthen AI mod. Because these enemy lords have lots of gold, when they pay a ransom, it's not like vanilla Bannerlord where they pay you 1,000 or 3,000. They're paying us 9,000 and 20,000. So that's obviously helping the financial situation. At this stage, money is no object, though. Every city we go to, we sell all of our loot. In fact, that's not even... whoops, I'm doing this wrong. I'm distracting myself. Let's build trebuchets first. We're going to do this right so we don't suffer massive consequences. I don't even mind if the Southern Empire attacks us here. We have such a monstrous force, and I've got 2 more armies on the way here, right? We're going to be fucking people up, whether they let us siege here... or whether they attack us in the open field. I mean, unless they have 4,000, I guess then we'd be in trouble. Oh, hey, the Khazaits have rare success here. It looks like the Khazaits just... No, I apologize. We had rare success against the Khazaits. They destroyed the Khazait there outside the Onira, so Onira remains in our possession. All right, what else? We were covering the proper siege, right? We're going to build catapults, blow down all their fucking fire catapults, and then storm the gates. We've got 1 fire onager built just for boot, or at least we will once everything's all built here. We'll be able to destroy all, if not all, almost all of their catapults. And unless a huge relief force arrives, this city is ours. And it's been... you know, a pretty sudden comeback. We were almost fucked a couple episodes ago. I apologize if this is the first episode of this series you're watching. What are you thinking, right? You should start with episode number 1, man. Find the playlist. It's listed in the video description, and you can start with episode 1. Of course, now you're going to have some serious time warp. I actually took a date onto like Harry Potter's 7th movie without seeing any of the other ones. Talk about a time warp. Not a big Harry Potter fan, but we gave it a shot. And we've got plenty of food. It says we're low on food. I don't know why. It says 0 days. That's kind of gimmicky. Sometimes it's buggy. We've got plenty of food. We're not concerned with starving at all. This city's going to starve before us, but we're not going to starve it out. We're just going to blast the city. Our trebuchets are going to work. And Cole has good siege skills, right? He's over 200. Every siege like this, his skill goes up even more. Throwing those fireballs, I think, helps his throwing, but when he sits on a catapult, his siege goes up enormously. And we haven't really had a whole lot of defenses. In fact, I'm not sure Cole... I'm trying to think if Cole has participated in a single siege defense. I don't think so. But you know that's coming, right? This campaign is about to get manifestly harder with independence. All right, so nothing too spectacular about this siege. In fact, sometimes I hesitate to show you guys these. But we're gonna go for the ladders. A lot of times guys go straight for the siege tower. The ladders are faster, and if you can punch a hole, they're just as effective. The biggest key is, of course, pressuring them on all the different spots. Hey, this guy's new, by the way. This is a new companion. He replaces some of our dead people. The boar, right? This guy might lead a future clan. We're gonna need some good companions to create clans once we have our own kingdom. All right, so we're going to blaze through this. Whoops, maybe not that fast. It's fast forward death here. I am going to speed things up at times, especially sieges like this where there's virtually no chance of failure. At this stage, if you're watching, you probably know way more about siege. The guys that are watching hardcore each of these episodes, they're either waiting for me to swear, come up with some good historical anecdotes or something like that, or for some other reason. They're certainly not watching to learn siege. By now you guys all know how to do siege. You're probably siege experts, probably better than me. You're probably like, what the fuck are you doing? Horrible at siege, right? There's probably guys watching this that are like, I don't approve, you suck, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be putting up catapults and blowing up the guys on the walls or whatever it is. I understand there's definitely better ways to do this, but this is just this is blunt force and it's more fun. In fact, we'll zoom in here and just look at these guys up close. You know, we use the old RTS mod because this is hilarious looking. That's what 700 units with javelins looks like, right? Nothing is surviving. Looks like a firing squad, a fast forward firing squad. And very quickly, the defenders are erased at this ladder spot here. You can see the crossbowmen and archers are firing away. We'll make sure the ram and the siege tower are going over here. In fact, we can give them, let's give them a division at the siege tower so they can charge and apply pressure too. Let's see, we got this huge division, the 2nd division, and we can send those guys in. I didn't mention it, but I put the 8th Corps full of most of our nobles at the far back of the map, and that's because I don't want those guys getting killed. Get up this ladder. Do we have to fucking... We're gonna have to kill some guys here to fucking cause some fear. This is how you do it, fellas. Climb up there. There you go. I just had to kill a guy, and suddenly everybody's obedient. Right? You just... a javelin to the face and everybody else is like, I'm paying attention. It's like the best thing. Like, I give classes all the time as a firefighter, an experienced firefighter, to new guys, and every once in a while I get guys that don't pay attention. I'm a pretty good instructor, so I don't have that problem as much as other people, but it fits the little joke here. Every once in a while I just throw my pencil through the forehead of guys in class when they're not listening, and motherfuckers immediately, you know, after we give them medical treatment, immediately started paying attention to class. Just like that, our forces here paid attention. They're starting to climb that ladder, and the butchering is on, right? We've got high-end troops. They probably don't. That guy got blasted. Is Cole that strong? He hits a guy and the guy goes flying. Maybe so, right? Cole is getting manifestly overpowered at this stage. I feel like I have a god character here. His armor is high-end. His axe work is just sick. He just chops his way through. I'm not even afraid unless it's like multiple nasty troops, right? He just fucking smashes guys. I don't remember Zuvan feeling this powerful. Now we shall see, right? Maybe he'll get, he'll get stronger, I guess. I was going to say maybe he'll get weaker. Well, I hope not. That would be difficult to do. I wonder if we can get down to the base level there. They're actually kind of pushing us here in the corner. Little militia, little Imperial archers are pushing around our cataphract. He's probably telling them, I'll tear your limbs, right? Going up to our cataphract, fucking threatening him. Fucking hilarious. His little... It's much more fun in this game than just pummeling militia and dudes that look like your neighbor, or that insolent fuck that's dating your cousin who you just want to punch him in the face. Like, it's a beautiful thing where you just get to fucking cleave their forehead with a giant axe. And then of course there's the realism. They're like, they get mangled. Oh, this bitch. You missed. I didn't. All right, they got a bunch of militia piled up at the bottom here, so I'm trying to get archers up the ladders, but they're having a hard time getting up there, right? Evidently, I need to blow a hole open myself here. These guys are all trying to get up there to defend, and they're not paying me very much attention, which is way up there on the easiest ways to get killed, right? This is high on the list. It's right there with strapping a bunch of stakes to yourself and going swimming at dusk in South Africa. Not in the southern tip particularly, not a good idea. I'm a shark aficionado. I know zero personal experience. Oh, here's a noble. Let's have a duel. Come get some. Vasilops. Well, he already took 150 and fucking shrugged it off. 180. Let's see how much damage this fucker takes. Maybe he'll kill me. He's swinging his mace like a motherfucker. I mean, he's swinging it faster than any fucking, any legionary you'll ever see. It's fast. Get back, bitch. Well, couldn't quite tell how many hit points he had there, but I would say 300, 350. Yeah, but ultimately he dies too, right? Just like these militia, carved to pieces. Just like that fucking dipshit dating your nephew. The guy doesn't even wear a clean shirt when he comes and meets your family, right? That fucking dipshit. We're just gonna fucking mangle these. These guys aren't even looking the right way. This must be bad AI. They're trying to prevent our troops from getting down that ladder well, and they're paying me virtually no attention. This guy's got the right idea. Let's run away, right? Let's speed through some of this here, and we're gonna wrap this episode up. I think we will head north, dump some troops off at Danustica, right? We need to restock the garrison at Danustica. Look how fast Cole's. I thought he was going to get stronger. Now he's swinging his axe fast, right? That's a little bit not quite normal fast, I suppose. All right, so we'll cut our way through here, smash some of these troops here. He really just does feel like he can kill 10 guys by himself. Although that's what, as soon as you get cocky, you get fucking Manavliatoned and your dude's dead. Now that would have killed him, or at least killed, what, Wazoo, like 3, 4, 5 episodes ago, right? Now we've got some high-end armor. He's got that piece of armor that's like 57 for the chest piece or something like that. And look at that shit. A Legionnaire, instead of doing like 40 or 20 or something like that, did 11, right? And now he's got 200 hit points. He's becoming a beast. I get a lot of guys that ask me, what's your combat build? What do you suggest? And I see they have like 3 or 4 focus points and they have 160 two-handed skill. No, you got to put some points into that shit, right? Like, we're going to eventually get 8, maybe 7 or 8 into Cole, and that'll put him around the 300 range for two-handed, right? Which means he's manifestly stronger than all the other units on the battlefield, with the exception of the lords we're going to alter. Look at this fucking Zerg. These guys look like soccer hooligans after a fucking gold medal match where they won. That's a lot of troops. All right, well, ultimately, this is a smashing success, literally, right? Under 100 casualties as we just blew these troops at Razi out of the water. We will just quickly run through this next part here. We can't pillage. You're not allowed to pillage, although we are pillaging gold. That's part of the reason our companions are feeding us so much money. Our companions are rich, and that's because we're constantly winning battles and looting our enemy. You picture all these totally dishonorable noblemen like getting down on their knees and fishing out the coins, like just disgraceful behavior. Maybe they have their servants and shit doing that, and then this servant brings them a big bag of coins at the end of battle. They let somebody else do the dishonorable work. That's usually how the nobles in society work. Alright, so Razi is ours. We smashed our way through here, and again, a little hiccup there where it felt like the whole world was crashing down on us. But in these 3 or 4 episodes, I'm not sure how many they're going to be, we have completely righted the ship here. Of course, we almost did it all. The Aserai forces were basically the crash test dummy for us. They provided some very weak troops for us. And unfortunately, a lot of our companions, it looks like they dumped a bunch of our high-end troops into this city. So I'm going to be extra mad if we lose Razi. There's no way to avoid this, as far as I know, with Vanilla Bannerlord. It basically, how it works is the AI, you know, controlling your units, including your companions. And please educate me, fellas, if I'm wrong. I'm on 1.28. Maybe there's a new version where you can change it. But we have no ability to tell my companions, don't put fucking troops in the garrison. They put a bunch of troops into Razi here, and the odds of us getting Razi are not terrific, right? They're low. Steward skill continues to rocket, and of course part of the reason is we have all 9 types of food. That's still helping. And of course, these fucks don't vote us for anything. I'm about had enough of this. Guzid's my bro, but these motherfuckers are being incredibly selfish. We do all the work. They take all the spoils. It's like Bannerlord's version of Cinderella here. We're ready to go to the ball. We're ready to get our pumpkin. We're ready to... You motherfuckers. Well, hold everything. Unless Danustica or something lights up under siege here, we're gonna clock whatever is here. In fact, I will run there as fast as I can. We'll use the better time mod, 4x speed. We're gonna smash whatever's here. Hopefully we can just auto-resolve it. And then I think we're gonna empty this castle. This castle's actually a long ways away from the rest of our possessions, so we're effectively gonna punt it. I think we'll take Sasatha back into our party. It's a large force, but it's relatively weak. They have 200 recruits, so the Southern Empire has been through their elite troops, right? They're gonna have to win some battles before they're formidable for a while, and we just smash through them here, take more prisoners. I'm definitely collecting shock troops and crossbow. Those are the two types of units that I'm collecting at all costs. Jawal units. We want to have a nice big army of camels. And I think we're going to gather all the troops in here and overload our companions, and then we'll head back. We're basically, whoops, we're getting a little autosave in here, which reminds me, this episode is probably near the end. I think I'll take us up to Danustica and call this episode good. I'm aiming for 1 hour, and for the most part, I've been able to keep episodes about an hour. That just seems like a nice round number. Not too long and not too short. Guys are clamoring for, you guys want more content from this campaign. I know this isn't the most exciting content, but you know, some of this stuff's important, right? It has to bear on recent events. If things were sort of normal and we were just expanding recklessly, I don't really want to leave these troops, right? We can give these to companions. They dumped off a bunch of troops, of course, at that city, and so they should have space. Yeah, she had 160 units, and now so this stupid bitch, I mean, this very nice future leader, Talia Willowbark of ours, she dumped off a bunch of our elite troops with no permission at Razi. And then, of course, immediately the Aserai just seize it and say, this is ours. They're like the IRS, right? Like, you work hard, you get a bunch of resources, and they come in and they're like, thanks, we'll take 40% of that. That'd be great. All jokes aside, I do approve of modern civilizations taxing their people. There's an astonishing and worrying trend, especially in the United States, of anti-taxism, anti-taxes, whatever you want to call it. And I think that is a very worrying trend. And the main reason is that part of the reason that countries like the United States and Singapore and Japan and Taiwan are advanced and civilized is that they have the funding. The government has the funding to make them advanced. It pays for the government, pays for roads, it pays for fucking schools. There's so many things it does, and unfortunately, Americans are they're anti-tax. And my answer to that, if you hate taxes, go to some country that doesn't have taxes, right? I recommend Somalia. No offense if you're from Somalia, but anybody who lives in Somalia will tell you they wish they had some taxes, especially on the rich people there, so that they could fucking have roads and schools and fucking, a defense force that prevents them from being mauled by rebels. All right, enough of that soapbox. We'll do a little bit of ranting from time to time, but I think it's time to go to Danustica here, dump off these troops, and then we will call this episode good. Although, I think the plan for the next episode is to siege Vostrom. I think that makes the most sense. So I'm going to wrap this episode up, friends. I appreciate you fellas You guys have been fantastic. All the support the last 6 months to a year, especially the last 2 months on this campaign. And with all that said, fellas, I will see you guys next time.